What's good, gang? We're back for another Labyrinth / UFC breakdown. Full fight card prediction with your host. It's the Truth, Big Tooth, and we got another 13 fight banger pay-per-view to get into. You already know what it is. We jumping straight into it. First fight, Veronica Hardy versus Eduarda Moura. Definitely not a fight you want to be invested too heavily in on the side on this one. Pretty low-level women here. I think that Moura is definitely going to be the stronger of the two. If she gets this fight into the clinch, she can make it ugly, work some dirty boxing. But I do like the improvements that Hardy's made with her striking. So, yeah, give me Hardy. Next fight up, you got Basil Hafez versus Oban Elliott. And this fight right here, I just think that Oban Elliott is just a much more well-rounded overall fighter than Basil Hafez. Hafez likes to come in a little bit over-aggressive, swinging wild, and I just think Oban Elliott be more technical, shoot straight shots, and end up getting them out of there. So give me Oban Elliott right here. Mickey Gall versus Ramiz Brahimaj up next, and it's definitely not a high confidence spot right here, but I am going to side with Ramiz Brahimaj right here. It's just I just think that Mickey Gall, never really been that impressed with him. Guy's a grappler, not much on the feet. I just, not really that impressed with Brahimaj either. I just trust him a little bit more here, so give me Ramiz. Up next, you got Marcin Tybura versus Jonata Diniz. Been struggling with this one here. Been kind of back and forth. I just think that no matter which way you go here, you got a big possibility of just looking really stupid no matter who you pick. Diniz, if he wins this fight, he's going to end up taking out Tybura. He's going to end up catching up with him, cracking his chin. We've seen his chin crack before. We know it can happen again. If Tybura wins, he's just going to be smothering them all over him. I'll go ahead and take a shot on Tybura. Next fight, David Onama versus Roberto Romero. Short notice replacement right here. Roberto Romero taking on David Onama. From what I've seen of Romero here, he likes to throw a lot of low kicks. Pretty nasty with the low kick. It's just when he does, he tends to leave his head straight on the center line. Not going to be a good thing against a guy who hits as hard as Onama. So give me David Onama right here. Jim Miller versus Damon Jackson up next, and Damon Jackson, they call him the leech for a reason. The guy likes to just get a hold of you, cling on to you, look to work his way to the back and work the choke. Jim Miller, of course, everybody knows that old dog, just a veteran guy's been around forever, doing it at the highest level, man. And he's just a grinder, very tough guy. He's, not going to be the easiest to control for Damon Jackson, who's going to want to be looking to get a hold of him, but I'll take the shot on Jim Miller right here. Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders up, and not really too much to say about this fight right here. These are two guys I usually like to fade going against each other. Weidman, he should win this fight unless he's just completely washed and needs to retire. Problem is, he might just need to retire, but I will take the shot on Chris Weidman right here. Next fight, Jonathan Martinez versus Marcus McGee. I'm seeing a lot of love for McGee this week, and Honestly, I'm not hating it, man. The thing I like about Marcus McGee is his vision. You know, guy doesn't have the greatest footwork, but he's able to stay safe because of his great vision and timing. And, you know, he's got good power in his hands. He's just a guy who really is a very high-level counter striker. But honestly, so is Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan Martinez, he likes to go forward and be on offense a little bit more. But I do think he does have the better footwork of the two, a little bit crisper striking, particularly with his hands. And yeah, I just think this is a very competitive, evenly matched fight right here. I can see Jonathan Martinez potentially having some success with the leg kick, but you know, McGee is a switch stance fighter, so you never know there. We'll see. But yeah, I just like what Martinez brings to the table, especially him coming off of a loss. I think he'll be hungry. I think he'll be ready to go. I'll go ahead and take the dog shot on Jonathan Martinez right here. Mauricio Hufi versus James Yantop up, and so this fight right here is a fight between two strikers for the most part. If this fight did end up going to the clinch or going to the ground at any point, though, I would say that Mauricio Hufi would definitely be the better grappler of the two. He's the guy coming out of the Fighting Nerds camp right now. The Fighting Nerds are just they're red hot, man. I can't really pick against Fighting Nerd right now. I just think they're on top of their game, and they're just taking the world by storm right now, man. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Mauricio Hufi right here. I think Yantop, you know, he'd have a chance if he could keep this fight on the feet. Maybe you know, start working the hands, maybe get it to a clinch, work some dirty boxing. But yeah, if nothing else, Hufi can end up taking this fight to the ground, and once he does, he's definitely going to have the way better jiu-jitsu of the two. So yeah, I got Hufi. I think Hufi's got big power in his hands, and like I said, dangerous on the ground as well. So yeah, I could see this fight being inside the distance win for Mauricio Hufi right here. Next fight, Viviane Araujo versus Karine Silva. So this fight right here, for me, is pretty easy to call, just because, you know, both of these girls like to take chicks down to the ground and work their top game, but one of them is just way better at it than the other, and that's Karine Silva. I see Karine Silva finding a lot of success getting this fight to the ground and getting on top of Vivi, just because Vivi, whenever she's on the feet, I notice she just stands very square. She's very hittable, and that's not going to be a good thing either against an opponent that hits as hard as Karine Silva. So I see Silva just having a lot of success in this fight. Highly confident in Karine Silva right here. I feel like she's, you know, maybe not as clean of a striker on the feet. Maybe if Viviane could keep this fight on the feet, maybe she could out-hustle her, outwork her, outpoint her on the feet. But no, I just see Karine Silva, you know, landing those power shots on the feet, you know, giving her something to think about, something to worry about. And then once this fight goes to the clinch, it's going to be all Karine Silva's world. So give me Silva. Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig up, and man, the only thing you really need to know about this fight is just the fact that Bo Nickel is one of the most highly decorated and elite level wrestlers in the UFC today, and he's going up against Paul Craig, who, you know, Paul Craig is probably one of the worst wrestlers in the division. Now, he does have a very nasty guard game, very nasty triangle choke off his back, I know he specializes in that, and he's going to be looking for it, you know, early and often. But I just see Bo Nickel able to neutralize Paul Craig's guard here. You know, high-level wrestling usually beats high-level jiu-jitsu if all else is even. And on the feet, yeah, Craig really isn't doing much striking-wise. Bo Nickel has showed a lot of, you know, really good improvements on the feet with his hands. Is actually looking pretty good. So I just feel like Bo Nickel should be able to stay safe in this fight. Just get on top of Paul Craig, man, start working him over. And I just feel like if he does that, he should be able to get Paul Craig out of there pretty quickly, man. There's just no way I can pick Craig here. Give me Nickel. Co-main event up, Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. It's a rematch, a fight from a couple years ago where, you know, it was a pretty entertaining scrap. Michael Chandler was able to catch Charles Oliveira early, but then he got a little bit over anxious there and tried to go for the finish, didn't get it. Charles ended up catching him in the next round. So that seems to be happening quite a bit in Charles Oliveira fights. So, you know, we see him get caught. We see him able to be, you know, play a good nail, you know what I'm saying, come back and find a way to finish people. But in this fight right here against Chandler, I just think that Chandler can end up maybe catching him again, hurting him with something on the feet again, only this time if he just doesn't freak out, doesn't try to go too crazy, stay calm, avoid the guard for sure. If he goes into the ground, definitely just pass the legs, avoid the guard at all costs, and he might just find the finish on Charles there. So yeah, I'll go out on a limb and go with the dog shot right here on Michael Chandler. I got Chandler by stoppage right here. All right, main event time, John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. And so the main thing to know about this fight right here is you got one guy who's 42 years old and coming off of a multiple year long layoff, going against basically the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. The intriguing thing though about this fight is just the fact that John Jones doesn't really fight well off the back foot. He likes to go forward with his jab and just tricky elbows and tricky striking and stuff like that. Not really a big counter puncher, and Stipe is one of those guys that's pretty much always on the front foot, always going forward. So something's gonna have to give there. I just think that eventually this fight's gonna end up getting to the clinch, and of course John Jones, expert at getting to the body lock takedowns, getting to his trip takedowns, getting to your back, finding, getting to maybe a front headlock position and finding your neck somehow, some way. I just think at some point it's going to get to the grappling element, and yeah, it's going to be John Jones' world from there. So yeah, I got John Jones here. I just see him finding the submission at some point, so I have to go with the champion. Give me John Jones. And if you made it this far, guys, massive shout out to you. As always, be sure to subscribe to the MMA Clown Show on YouTube for the craziest live streams, the most entertaining sports content, and the very best MMA prediction competitions. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.